What is up? It is a crazy week too, guys. What is up? We're doing IDP today. I know you guys are probably like, why is this show starting hours before our Chicago show on Tuesday? Well, it is week one and we are doing IDP. I'm trying to focus more on IDP this year. The Chicago guys will come later tonight, probably after this show, probably within the hour. So I think they're scheduled an hour from now. So this was going to be quick. If you're looking for offensive waiver wire, wait. Just wait till later after Brian cries about his Bears and Fields and what the Bears did with their quarterback situation and their rookie and blah, 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 blah. Wait for that. Right now, if you do IDP, this is where you're at. This is where you belong. I have 4 from each position, DBs, linebackers, and also the linemen. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm not going to take too much time out of this show. What is up, Derpy? How are you, man? So yeah, I mean, it was a crazy week one. How'd you guys like it? How'd you guys you guys expected? Did you guys have a good time? Did you enjoy it? I want to know, like, how did it go? Was there some surprises that we didn't think was gonna happen? Yeah, let me know. But right now, oh, that's you lost, Mike. It's only week one. It's all good. It makes you feel better. I did lose, in my main Dynasty league. I scored a lot of points and I played the number one guy. I really hope this isn't going to be a repeat season of last year. Last year I so happened to play the number one scoring guy every single back-to-back week. I did not make sense. And it happened again. They scored 199 points. They were basically at 200 and I was sitting at 160. So it is 0-2. Dang, that sucks. That sucks. Well, that's rough, my guy. But yeah, no, it'll get better. It is a lot of players that we didn't expect to do bad did good, and the players we expected to do good did bad. So, yeah, I don't see a lot of people starting Isaiah Likely. Maybe you did. Good for you. Rashad, and it's also Reed. If you start him, also good for you. So, but yeah, let's I hope it gets better for you. It's only week one. Get all that out of the way. So for me, I was just more excited that we have football and we're getting back into it. So again, today's going to be doing IDP and also later tonight, Brian. I don't know if Tank's going to be there. I haven't really talked to them at all. But I know they'll be here. So if you're expecting the Bears, they'll be on later today. Right now, I'm just going to cover up the IDP guys. So again, it was pretty interesting. My first, IDP, like from if you haven't done IDP, it's individual defensive players. Basically, you get scores off of what these players do and production wise. So let me show you our number one guy who did really, really good. And this is how the scoring goes for our league. Our league is different. So Alontae Taylor out of the Saints, a corner, they rushed him a lot. So he got a pass deflection for us is 2 points, QB hit which is 3, and these add up. So he's got the sack, the QB hits, the solo tackle, and the tackle for loss. All of that added up, it's practically almost 6 to 7 points each sack he got. So if you add all that up, that was almost a 26.95. Practically 27 points in a single week. It was a very good week for him. As a matter of fact, he was my number one DB to go get. And the only reason I say that is because the Saints did really good. Now, it was the Panthers, so I don't know if this is going to be a repeat of that, but they did rush him 3 times, and he put use of it. So, again, this is our guy. This is what I had him on the cover if you saw it. So, again, I'm not too like if you're looking for another DB to replace, your worst ones or something, go ahead. I think this guy would be very good either on your bench or at least have just make sure nobody else has him. You know what I mean? Because if they do plan on rushing him more, he's going to probably get himself another couple of sacks. He is the first DB in the Saints organization to record 3 sacks in a single game. So good for him. I'm kind of excited what the Saints do. Now, that being said, other teams are going to look at that and be like, okay, we got to keep an eye on this number 1 guy because that's the jersey number he has. Number 1, keep an eye on him because they might blitz him. So does this mean another DB might do it? We don't know. But again, if they continuously do that, maybe next week they back off. The Panthers weren't really good. I don't expect them to do really good. So next week, if the Saints continuously do this, do it again. I mean, he did really good. Let's take out these sacks, right? I mean, he still had 5 solo tackles, right? And that's pretty good for a DB, meaning they're throwing his way. And he got one of those pass deflected. So he's doing his job. Other than that, that's probably 7 points. I mean, that's a touchdown and some yards for a regular offensive player, right? If you take the sacks away. Where he got most of his money is from the sack yards. Of course, in our league, that was 26 yards. We do basically point like it's double the amount of points of every yard you get for a defensive player. So he got 5.2 there. So that's in our league. Other leagues are different. So if you're interested in IDP, we'll be talking about a lot of IDP here. We're trying to make IDP more familiarized with everyone. So again, we'll be talking about this hopefully every Tuesday. I'm going to try and do these every Tuesday. But Anthony, what's up, man? You got Kyle Hamilton. Do you look lost in the game? Yeah, at points it did. But Roquan was kind of everywhere, man. Roquan had himself a game. He had an interception. I think he had a couple of yards on that. So he was just literally everywhere. I think he recorded almost 12 tackles. I don't even know. Roquan being Roquan, man. So Kyle Hamilton, give him some time. I think he'll be fine. If you drafted him, I'm not too worried. It is just week 1. Just Friday, I was watching a few people and they're asking questions. If you're worried about this guy and if you're worried about them, what do you think? I'm like, no, let's stop. It's week 1. It's week 1. I'm not worried about any of my stars falling. I'm not worried about any of my stars being productive. They are the stars of their team. They're going to product, and it's only week 1. The scheme for the offense maybe didn't match with the defense, or vice versa. The defense just had a better scheme for that specific player. I did not expect Kelsey to do this bad. It happens. It happens. So it was just week 1. Get the cobwebs out of the way. It is what it is. But yeah, my number 1 right here was DBs. But since he is a DB, we'll start with the DBs. I do want to bring up Tyreek Stevenson out of Chicago, and also Julian Love also did really good and then Javon Ballin, who also I brought them. Let me see if I can bring up their page so we can see a little bit of their stats. Off topic, someone wants my Derrick Henry for Joe Mixon. I'm not doing that because I don't think that's going to happen frequently. Where's my DBs at? Derrick Henry's going to get his. Derrick Henry's going to get his, and you can see that they're kind of using him still. Kind of. I know it wasn't a lot for week 1. They just kind of shied away from him after the second half or something like that. Joe Mixon did really good. Either one, I think you're going to be fine. All I know is that Cincinnati Bengals miss him, and they should have signed him. But if you're okay with Joe Mixon, he's going to be productive as long as he stays healthy. I don't know if I'm going to do that though. I like Derrick Henry, but Joe Mixon did really good, and it doesn't even look like the Houston Texans even shied away from him. They know what they have. The issue is they used him a lot, and how much they're going to continuously use him, because too much on a running back, especially at his age, can deteriorate his tread for the season, and then towards the back end of the season, it's going to be a little bit worried. As for Baltimore, they have Mitchell, he's still on the PUP list. In 4 weeks, they're using Justice Hill, and clearly they're using him. Keontae Mitchell's going to come back, and it's going to be more problems for Derrick Henry. And again, Derrick Henry's good, but we saw it last year with Tajay Spears. They were using him more. Do we see Derrick Henry kind of fade a little bit? Yeah, maybe, but he's still the king. I think he's still going to get himself 1,000 yards, maybe more, probably 12 to 15. I don't know. I don't know what Baltimore has planned for him, but I think they're going to run all three when Keontae Mitchell gets back, because Keontae Mitchell is probably the fastest of the three. Second to Justice Hill, who has better hands, and then Derrick Henry is as the bruiser. So there goes my mouse. But no, I'm not too worried. I would keep Joe Mixon because he doesn't have a competition there. He has Pearson, but he's not anywhere competition. Where Derrick Henry is going to have competition, and you can already see it coming off week 1 with Justice Hill. So I would say if you really want to make that deal, ask. No, because then he won't give you more. I would just keep Joe Mixon. Just keep him. Okay. DBs. Let's start with Javon Baldwin. I'm just gonna kind of use sleeper, just kind of like easier, like just, and we can see what their names and their teams and whatever whatnot. I'm just gonna kind of make it easier for everyone. Got 11 tackles. I know that I think 7 of those were solo, so good for him. Look, the what's crazy is I have a lot of guys from this same division. I have Green Bay Packers, I have Bears, and I have some Vikings in here. Those 3 defense are going to be on defense a lot. We saw it week 1. But only I think the loss of Jordan Love for a couple of weeks is going to really put a lot of pressure on the Green Bay Packers defense. So get yourself some Green Bay Packers. If the Bears don't figure it out again, get yourself some Bears. Look, the teams that struggle on offense typically have better team or individual defensive players on defense. Why? Because they have more reps. They're going to be on the field more. It's kind of a good thing for IDP. Individual defensive players, if they're playing a lot, typically that's a good thing. That's not good for like our other leagues, like redraft leagues, all that. When you have whole defenses, you don't want that a lot because they get worn torn. But for individual defense, that means they're racking up double-digit tackles. This man's already have 11. So if you have assists, tackles, even better. This is the website, so it's not broken down as well as our phones. Our phones will show a little bit more. So this is, again, Javon Bullard. I actually was high on him. I was actually high on a lot of DBs from Green Bay coming in. I almost wanted to get myself Rashawn Gary earlier in the year, but I drafted Edgerrin Cooper over him. I even talked to Brian about this. I'm like, had I not gotten Edgerrin Cooper in my Dynasty draft, I would have went with Rashawn Gary, who happens to be one of my linebackers here coming up or defensive line, because he has that dual eligibility. I have him coming up in the next couple of segments here when we cover D-line. So if you're in a Dynasty league and Edgerrin Cooper's just sitting there, I strongly suggest to go get him. He's already playing. A lot of rookies don't just start right away. It's really hard for them. And I've always been really key on linebackers myself. And he was one of those guys I was not going to leave the draft with. If for some reason he is sitting there on your waiver wire, please, on your Dynasty leagues, get him as your linebacker. He's going to start eventually many, many, many games. But let's move on. Julian Love single-handedly did really, really good. This man put up like 20 points in our league, which, I that interception took back a lot of points for me. It was like, I actually played him, and I think I pretty much lost to him. 20 points is a good day. 10 solos, the interception of 4 points for us, and then some yardage. Basically destroyed me. And it is what it is. So, Julian Love, if he's still there, go ahead, get him. He was also one of the top guys. A lot of people are fading him. I don't know why. Just because it's Seattle defense. I don't know what the deal is there, but if he's there, go get him. I strongly suggest to get him. The other guys, these other 2 guys probably will be there. Tyreek Steven, again, another guy. I mentioned the Bears. He's probably the first DB who kind of shine a little light on when I first saw this. Got himself an interception for touchdowns, which is great. You always want those pick sixes. 4 tackles, but outside that, he was still used. As a matter of fact, let me see his percentage on the Chicago's Bears. Tyreek Stevenson was out there 98%. He was only down for 1 snap. which was probably after he scored the touchdown. Outside of that, Jalen Johnson was out there for 64 snaps. Tyreek Stevens was out there for 63 snaps. So he was out there 98% of the snaps. So definitely you want guys who are up there in the high 90s. They're going to be used a lot. If you can't get your hands on him, Kyle Gordon was out there for 95% of the time. So he was at 61 snaps. And then Kyle Brisker and Kevin Byard, 64. So he was basically utilized the entire time they were on defense. So those are the guys you guys want. Get those guys who are out there on defense more than anything else, just because opportunity is key. The more they are out there, the stronger chance of getting more tackles, whatever. There's some leagues out there that are like 2, 3, 4 points per tackle, man. It's insane. Which for me, that's a lot. For me, I have a single point per tackle. And that's enough for me because I upgrade the impact plays, like the interceptions, the fumble recoveries, the interception yards, all those impact plays that are like an overturn or a forced fumble, all that I reward more points. Even a pass deflection I do for 2 points, and a single tackle is just for 1. I feel like a tackle is kind of like a basic play, routine play, like a reception for a receiver kind of thing. So that's how I feel about it. But again, your leagues have different settings, and you're probably going to get tired of me saying that week after week. But again, I have new viewers that come in, or people come in, what's IDP? So again, I'm going to probably repeat that again. What's up, Anthony? I know that's you. Maybe Frank, but I doubt it. If that's Frank, please say what's up. It's me, Frank. But I'm pretty sure that's Anthony. Get Right Fantasy Network. I'm surprised you're using your alternate account here. It's kind of a self promo. These guys had their game ball show yesterday. They basically talked about the week, and I know him and Frank kind of give out game balls throughout the week. So if you want to go over there and check them out and ask offensive fantasy questions, I think they have shows now on Wednesdays with another group. It is not Anthony and Frank, but it is other gentlemen. I'm sorry I do not know their names. I just don't pay attention to them because we have our show on Wednesday. After my show, I pretty much call it a night. So I don't even know who the hell those guys are. But they do have a show. If you just get tired of what we're seeing, like these guys are idiots tonight, go check them out. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. No worries. I figured that was you, but if not, but yeah. All right. So another DB again. Our guy, I mentioned him earlier, Alontae Taylor did really good. Got himself 3 sacks. They're rushing him. So if they continuously do this, this guy's going to get more sacks. First DB in Saints getting 3 sacks in a single game. I do have a feeling that the other offenses are going to pick up on this. So they might play around with where he's positioned at the nickel or in the slot, wherever they decide to put him. But like I said earlier, let's bring up the previous page that I had for him. If you notice that outside those sacks, he still was productive. Outside the sacks, take away the sacks, the sack yards, all that. Take away all that. He still had 5 solo tackles and a pass deflection, okay? Again, that's pretty good for a DB, okay? That means they're throwing his way, okay? They're targeting his receiver or his side 5 times, and on one of those he got a pass deflection. So that's already 7 points. Okay, your settings might be different. That could go up a little bit higher. These sacks were a bit of a surprise. I like it. We do 3 points per sack on the stack of the tackle for loss, on the stack of the solo tackle, on the stack of the QB hit. So it's damn near 6 to 7 points, depending on how it is. And he got himself 26 yards there. So that was a big money maker. So again, if you're saying he's not a pickup, then that's your opinion. I'm just giving you what I think. The 5 solos and the pass deflection is good enough for me as a good RB2. A DB2, the sacks, if they utilize him more, I think he's going to be a very good asset here in these next coming weeks. There's always a good corner. He's out snapping Marshawn Lattimore, I think, and he's pretty much their secondary corner. Let me actually check the percentage on that, but I do believe he was out snapping Marshawn Lattimore, but the Lattimore's getting old, so there's no surprise there. Taylor, where you at? Paulson Adebo barely beat him by 8 snaps. They're 54. They weren't on defense a lot, actually. 54 snaps. And he had 46 snaps, and he was out there 78%. So I think he's going to get a big upgrade. He's also fighting against Marshawn Lattimore and the rookie Kool-Aid McKinstry, but it looks like these guys aren't anywhere near the snap percentage compared to the other corners. I mean, obviously, Will Harris and Jordan Hoden are going to be out there, and Tyrann Mathieu, because they run the 3 safeties. But Alontae Taylor definitely made a big impact. So Lattimore was banged up, wasn't he? I think he was, maybe towards the end. But he did play just about half the game. So I didn't watch the entirety of that. I was like looking at the stats. I'm like, why is this guy so high? But he is, again, these 3 sacks made it interesting to me. Say you have your 2 DBs, you're already starting. If you feel like your 3rd DB or 4th DB isn't like that all great, give this guy a whirl, keep him on your bench. Let's see if they rush him more. I'm interested in why they rushed him more. The offenses will pick up on this. Maybe they send another DB, but if this is their rusher, then this is the guy that they're going to send on these corner blitz. This is the guy they really seem to be focused on. So, again, that's Alontae Taylor out of the Saints, and he plays corner. If you're not big on corners, I'm sorry. I'm not big on corners either, but again, those are his stats for our league. I'm not big on corners. I prefer safeties just because they're back there, they're deep. They can catch an interception and then run into the house. But corners can do the same. It was a hammy. Just check, see if I got back into IDP because of you. Now the defensive injuries are sticking with. Yeah. Yeah, dude, IDP is different, man. I love it. I'm going to try and do these a lot more. I know what basically had me not do it last year, in the last couple of years, is I was too focused on making overlays and all this other crap, and it takes time, guys. It takes time. I'm literally kind of going off of what I think, and also I'm kind of using Sleeper just to have them all lined up and showing you my picks. I know that there are other places that are probably saying similar things to me, but that's fine. I don't even think Alontae Taylor was on some of them, which was kind of like interesting. These 3 sacks are very interesting to me. Like, why? I don't know why they did it or why they're going to do it. They continuously do it, but it is something you want to kind of look at, because if they continuously do it, you're going to get yourself some sacks as a DB. And the 5 solo tackles and the pass deflection is good enough for me. So let's move on to D-line. Where my big guys at? There you are. Again, I was talking about a lot I talked a lot about how, where my guys at? There you go. Chicago and Minnesota and Green Bay. A lot of them came on my list. It's their offenses are going to be either in shambles or they're still working them out. So obviously, with the loss of Jordan Love, Green Bay, I was already high on Green Bay. So if you missed out earlier, I'm really in Dynasty leagues. I'm really excited about Adrian Cooper. He's already out there. He's already getting work done. Obviously, Rashawn Gary, the man, the myth, and legend, who I have here as my number 1 D lineman. He has that eligibility. 3 of these guys I'm about to mention today have that dual eligibility. Starting with Darrell Taylor, got himself 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and the 8 tackles. Again, it was a good performance because why? They had opportunity. We're gonna hear crying from Brian later on here in the next 40 minutes, and I'm pretty sure if you tune in for that, we'll hear on why the Bears were on defense a lot. So to actually be correct on how much they were on defense, the Chicago Bears, specifically Darrell Taylor, was on defense 38 snaps. 38 snaps. That's actually quite impressive. I just now looked at that right now. 59%. He got himself 2 sacks. Dude, this guy's gonna probably be just as good. Well, Montez Sweat is helping out a lot. So, but let's see who is the number 1. 64 snaps. Jalen Johnson had 100% snaps. And then I mentioned Tyreek Stevens, who was out there 98% of the time. So the Bears might be on defense a lot. Okay, like, it might be looking that way. So you don't have Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards. Sucks because they're going to be out there a lot. Montez Sweat, Darrell Taylor, and DeMarcus Walker are going to be the main key linemen there. Jalen Johnson and Tyreek Stevenson also going to be out there. Kyle Gordon, they're running 3 DBs with Brisker and Kevin Byard. So again, if you can't get a Green Bay Packer or a Bears, I think you should, because it looks like they might be on defense a lot until they figure out what Caleb's going to do there. But again, I'm interested in what Brian's going to say. He was already texting me game day, and I was just laughing because, I mean, it's just funny. It's just funny because the Bears did Bears things. So I hope he's watching, and I hope he's mad. I don't care. All right, my second guy, Gregory Rousseau. Another reason I think he's going to be on the field a lot. The outside of Josh Allen. What did you guys see? Because I was not impressed. They were dealing with the Cardinals defense, and they could not do it, which means I have a feeling that the Bills defense are going to be on the field a lot, because Josh Allen is literally going to carry this team on his back like we saw 4 years ago. See what happens. 6 tackles, 3 sacks, and one of them for a forced fumble. Good for him. 6 of those were solos, so good for Gregory Rousseau. This man always ends up on our freaking waiver wire every year, multiple times a year. I'm almost tempted to just grab him and just keep him on my roster, because this is not the first year. He's constantly on our waiver wire. So here he is, week 1 already. It wouldn't surprise me if we bring him up again later in the year. You just might as well keep him, because he might be a good DL too. Maybe even 1. I mean, he scored 24 points in our league. I don't know what they did for you league, depending on how many points per tackle you guys do in yours. All right, my second lineman, because he has that eligibility. Get these guys that have that dual eligibility, D-line, linebacker. You can put them in your D-line, and you basically have a free linebacker in the D-line spot. Andrew Van Ginkel here with the Minnesota Vikings, making his debut there. 4 tackles, got himself a sack, an interception, and a pick. Got a pick 6, so good for him. It was good. I think in this case, I can't click on it. I wish the PC would do a little bit better, but the yards probably helped out and why he got himself close to damn near 20 points in our league. But out of 41 snaps, and how many times were they actually on the defense? 41 snaps he played. 11 shorter than Jonathan Greenard. So he was out there 58% of the time. That is crazy. This man's probably going to have a higher percentage next week on week 2, because that was only 58%. I wonder what he's going to do next week. But again, these guys are waiver wires. If you guys are looking for LB2s, I think Van Ginkel's always been good. He's always been a big, solid dude to get it done with the Miami Dolphins. Now he's playing with the Vikings. And I'm not shying away from him either. So good for him. All right, and my last and final D lineman, linebacker / excellent player here at Packers, Rashawn Gary. Again, I wanted this guy. Again, in my dynasty draft, I wanted him. He was sitting there because we throw in our rookies and our veterans in the drafting pool as well. So Rashawn Gary definitely is going to be one of the bigger impact. I know this week wasn't like anything extravagant, but I did see how impressed I was with how they were running with him and Edgerrin Cooper alongside him. Again, Quay Walker is probably like the number 1 guy everyone's after, because he's that linebacker. But for Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary being the edges there, I think Rashawn Gary is going to have a better weeks coming along. I know Preston Smith is probably already drafted. Rashawn Gary might be there. I'm not too sure. but he was out there for 64% of the snaps. So if he got himself a sack already and got 3 solos, again, I like this guy. And you know me, when I'm stuck on a guy, they usually do have a pretty good season. So wait on him if you want, but he does have that eligibility. You could float him around between your D-line linebackers. So if you like that, good. I really like him. I think he's going to be really good. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at this, you can see on the top up there, you can see B-Wall. That's my good friend Brian. He already has him. So I think we both were good on him. And for Brian to have a Packer on his team, that's saying a lot because that man hates the Packers. And well, probably it wouldn't surprise me if he brings them up tonight. Despite, they didn't even play the Packers, but we'll see what the Bears and his emotions do. So yeah, Rashawn Gary, one of my favorite candidates therefore, and he's probably my number one D-line coming in. I know didn't do as good as the other guys, but again, still my favorite because I think he's going to be really good this year. So all right, so let's move on to the linebackers, of course. That's what we're all here for and what the moneymakers are in most of our leagues, because most leagues just have linebackers in some of them, which is absurd to me. I think you need to play – oh, crap, where'd it go? I think you need to play all of your positions. Like, all right, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. What is going on? Here we go. Juwan Bentley. With the loss of Matthew Judon to the Falcons, the defense kind of has to shade away from somebody else, right? This guy plays a lot of on the edge, despite he's on the linebacker side. So the focus from Judon isn't really as bad compared to protecting on that side on the offensive line. So it gives it open to other players on that defense. I think Juwan Bentley's going to do really good. Got himself half a sack with 7 solos and 5 total assists. So, I mean, did pretty good. Got himself 11 points here in our league. With the Patriots playing the way they are, we're still not good. I mean, they did beat Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, okay. Kind of interesting. Maybe the Bengals aren't as good as we thought they were. Maybe. I don't know. But I think they are probably they're going to be in a struggle bus. We'll see what the Bengals do. But Juwan Bentley did show himself out of 51 snaps. And 51 snaps to them was how much of that was New England Patriots? That was damn near almost all of them, right? Yeah, that was all of them. That was 100% snap. So he's out there every single snap. Again, and I will repeat this: the more they play, the more opportunities you get to get those tackles. So Juwan Bentley, highest linebacker played. The second one to him was Tavai at 73%. So out of the linebackers, this is your guy here in New England. My third linebacker here is Mack Wilson. He was on a lot of people's fence about getting him, drafting him. I don't know. So if he's there, he's probably going to be the main front runner of the Cardinals defense there from the linebacker side. Got himself 8 solos with an assist or 2 assists. So total not too bad. I do believe that they're going to be on defense more than what we actually expect them to be, just because that offense wasn't flying high as what I thought they were going to do. If you listen to me, don't put your rookies out there, i.e. Marvin Harrison. Hello. It's his first game. Like, let it simmer. Let your other veterans play until you figure out what this rookie can do. Then put him out there. If you had him out there week 1 in a redraft, holy crap, you don't know what you're doing. If you had him week 1 on a Dynasty league, maybe I see, depending on your roster size or what was going on. Cool. But yeah, this is my other guy. Zach Bond is everyone's main go-to right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I was impressed myself. I did not expect this at all from him. I never liked Zach Bond, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a Falcons fan. It's just the Saints never used him. He was projected to do good every week. He never really did anything there. This is a revamp to his career. If he does good here with the Eagles, he could definitely be a major asset for them. I mean, the defense there and the Eagles have a lot of depth, so that's what scares me the most. But it seemed like he was like the main guy, the main linebacker there with 15 total tackles, 11 of them being solos and 2 of those being sacks. So if you need a linebacker, he is my number 2, despite of everything. What people are saying, he should be the number 1 drafted or number 1 waiver wire pick for linebackers. But for me, it's Eric Kendricks. I know that it's weird, right? Because where was he been? He was with the Vikings, and then he went, I think, to the Eagles for a little bit. I don't know. Where did he go to the Eagles? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? The Eagles? The Chargers. The Chargers. All right, okay. God, see, I love Sleeper. Despite what you think his role is, Micah Parsons is not in his way. Because if you actually watch the Cowboys game, Micah Parsons hasn't really played linebacker since he's gotten there, really. He plays edge. He's labeled linebacker / defensive line because he plays edge. But if there's a front, it is Eric Kendricks getting himself 9 tackles and 2 of those being for sacks. So this is your guy. Again, this is going to be a short episode. I did want to talk about IDP. I don't want to talk about IDP. I know a lot of people probably don't even care about IDP, but it is what it is. For those who enjoy IDP, I will try and do this more often and be here for you guys. I'm trying to make IDP a little bit more enjoyable because a lot of people don't know what it is. And if you're here and you're going to watch this all the time, you're probably going to get sick of me hearing that until we see more IDP leagues out there. Again, Eric Kendricks is my number 1. Zach Bond's number 2. Mac Wilson and Javon Bentley are my 4 linebackers I'm actually getting this week. And then I'll repeat: D-line, Rashawn Gary, Andrew Van Ginkel, Greg Rousseau, and Darrell Taylor. 3 of those guys have the eligibility of linebacker DL. So definitely, like, if I were to pick one guy out of this entire group from the DBs, Alontae Taylor, Tyreek Stevenson, Julian Love, and Javon Ballard, out of these 12 that I gave you, Rashawn Gary's my favorite. Just because I think what the Packers are doing there defensively. And then now with Love gone, they're going to be on defense more. Okay. So if Edgerrin Cooper's there in Dynasty, get him. He might have gotten drafted, early rounds, but again, he could be there. I don't know. But Rashawn Gary is going to make an impact there. So that's my number 1 guy there. And then Alontae Taylor is going to be someone I want to keep an eye on. Am I going to get him and keep him on my bench or even start him? Yeah, potentially, depending on how many starters you have for defense, your IDP leagues. If you have 7 and you want to put him into flex, go ahead. Alontae Taylor could do it again if they decide to rush him. Maybe they pick a different DB. It is week 1, guys, so don't go crazy and start, using all your fab if you use fab or getting rid of all these other players. See what your league mates do. If you feel like your defense is solid and you're good and you just want to look for depth, again, look for these guys. I think they're going to be eventually good later down the road. If not, continuously keep this pace up. But if you have them, good, keep them on your bench and then roll them out as they get better. Again, guys, we will be back here in about 20 minutes to watch Brian cry about his Bears. So if you're tuning in now and you're watching, I'm not Brian. I'm not talking about the Bears. The Bears are here going to be in 20 minutes. And then our main show Wednesday after Brian's done crying, we will talk about everything and anything Wednesday. Guys, I am so sorry. How come no one reminded me? We forgot to do max or minimum Crosby. I totally forgot. Last Wednesday I was up alone. I didn't even think about it. But please remind me if we're doing Wednesday shows. I know we like to do that segment a lot. It's the max and minimum Crosby. If you don't know what that is, stay tuned for Wednesday night shenanigans. And also we'll be doing more Bleacher Report videos on Wednesday. So I think offense waiver wire Brian's going to take care of today. But this is your IDP waiver wire show for week 2 coming in. Again, keep an eye on those injuries. Football's back, guys, and it's good to say. It's good to say. It's good to hear. I'm glad we have a little bit of football. I'm gonna be focused on IDP more than anything. So, those are my 12 IDP. 4 from again, all DBs: Alontae Taylor, Tyreek Stevenson, Julian Love, Javon Ballard. DBs: D-line, Rashawn Gary, Andrew Van Ginkel, Greg Rousseau, Darrell Taylor, and then my linebackers: Eric Kendricks, Zach Bond, Mac Wilson, and Juwan Bentley. Okay. All right, guys. Good luck week 2. I will see you guys Wednesday, but stay tuned for the Bear show here in about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if he's late. I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I don't care about the Bears. I do and I don't. But I'm gonna let Brian do that. So let him take care of his Bears. That's his show. But guys, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever the hell you guys. This is the week 2 waiver wire for IDP. Defense is where it's at. You know I love defense, and I think you guys need to try it. It brings a different perspective to the game. You're not just watching offensive players. You're watching defense and seeing what those defensive players. It is such a good feeling when your running back runs straight into your linebacker and you get double points. It's a good feeling. Or the quarterback that your opponent is, and he throws it straight to your linebacker or DB, and that DB takes it to the house. Why? Because it's your DB. So it's a really good feeling. IDP is really fun. Again, thanks for watching. Watch Brian in his Bear show here in about 20 minutes. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next week on the IDP Waiver show. If not, Wednesday on our Shenanigans show. So later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, and that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave, eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up in the place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate.